So, you want to hear another story, huh? One where the very fate of the frontier hangs in the balance. If not, too bad, I'm showing you anyway. First, there was the Bastion, a stone prison opened with a mystical key. To the warriors who opened it, the dungeon was just a container of rocks and disappointment. They vanished into the Deadlands, certain that the Bastion held no treasure at all. They were wrong. The rift's opening triggered the growth of the Void, a dark and vile alien element. Soon, the dark and grotesque material emerged all across the frontier. Its appearance attracted many, including the Swordmaster. They came to the front. Hey! Wait a second. Okay, fine. You know, I'll skip to the good part. Okay? Jeez, people are ruthless these days. Recently, I've been looking into the absolute state of Roblox's, what do they call it now? The charts tab. Everything there is just worthless RNG games, some simulators that you can just dump hundreds of hours into for no reason, some incremental games, you name it. So let's look into a game that actually deserves a real spotlight, one that outshines most other Roblox games. That's right, it's Voxlblade. What's that? You already knew because of the title. Well, that's just cheating, isn't it? Voxlblade's a game that describes itself in far too little words. An RPG game where you upgrade a simple sword into amazing evolutions, and then illicit controls. So what actually is this game? Voxlblade is an MMORPG at heart, but its core gameplay mechanic is far from normal. Instead of just using your typical weapon slot, armor slot mechanic seen in every damned RPG on Earth, Voxlblade takes its own unique step, blade construction, the most and least complicated system for build crafting. It seems daunting at first, but after just a small bit of blade time, anyone can get an easy grasp on the concept. So let's dive into it real quick before I get onto anything else, as it's the centerpiece of the entire game. Blade construction is, as the name implies, you build your blade. With a choice of both a handle and a blade, you can make over 6,500 combinations of handles and blades. And that's not even including boss drops and other missed parts. Granted, not all of these combinations are useful, but many builds will use a combination of two completely different elements of blades and handles and get an absolutely amazing result. But this game isn't just about swords, despite the word blade being in the title, so let's take a gander at the world of Voxlblade. The world of Voxlblade is quite large, but also small enough that anyone can remember the map and general locations. Not only do you have the major biomes, but some sub-biomes scattered around to explore and conquer. Along with these locations, there's a couple of funky quest givers like Zarg, the world-renowned Gator wrestler who has 44 awards in Gator wrestling specialties and is currently working towards his 45th. First try. Are you someone who enjoys the snow? Well, why not explore the tundra? More into the blistering heat, the Deadlands call your name. This game world has secrets all around that both help with progression and hide some unique armor pieces that you may want to snag up, so it's always worth time to explore and get a grasp on where things are. Oh, and did I mention, just like the blades, the armor system is unique too. So let's take a little peek at Voxlblade's armor and infusions. Voxlblade doesn't have a class system, similar to games like Deep Woken. You aren't locked to a certain weapon or gear type like Vesteria, and you can mix and match armor and weapon pieces to make a completely unique build. But one set of armor isn't enough, so lying in spots around the map are these armor infusing machines. These machines, along with binding orbs, can infuse an additional piece of armor to finish off your build and make some pretty insane synergies. For example, in a previous video, I covered my Cursed Inferno build, and in that build, I infused a completely different armor set than what I was wearing to abuse its additional perks. When infusing, you get 50% of the armor's stats and the entire perk. Okay, so that's the general idea of the game down. If you have any more questions, they can always be answered while playing the game. So let's go into actually why you should play the game. You know, the title, what I should have explained 3 minutes ago. So why should you play Voxlblade? Well, simply put, this game is heavily worth your time. It may not have the grand map scale of something like Arcane Odyssey, but you don't need an insanely expansive map to be a good game. This game is for people who like numbers or enjoy seeing what they worked on being put to good use. A build handcrafted now being the reason you can solo certain content that wasn't intended to be played solo. And if you don't know how to build craft, that's fine. This game has a community that loves to help others and will openly share builds, as you can obviously see with my channel. Of course, you have the meta goblins of every game who gatekeep, but that's going to happen with every single game. It's quite hard to avoid. If you love or if you love the lore and dialogue of adventure games, Voxlblade is for nearly everyone. And if you end up not liking it, that's completely fine, as this game is completely free and will never require you to purchase anything to progress. All the races have a nearly negligible impact and are just to get that extra edge of your build, so don't worry too hard about those ones that cost a little bit of Robux. You don't need to spend anything. So with all that being said, I hope to see some of you checking out Voxlblade. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts on the game are. I'd love to hear them. You probably already know what I'm about to say here. I gotta thank you yet again for the support. We've been just climbing so fast. I genuinely was dreaming of hitting 500 as some big goal of like, oh, I'll hit 500, make a sub special, and call it good. And now I'm above 750, climbing to 1,000, and I don't know what to do anymore. So for now, all I'll say is that you guys are all just absolutely amazing. I love each and every one of you. And as always, have a great day. Bye-bye.